How's it going today, guys? Today, I'm going to be telling you guys about my recommended accessories when you're getting started with kite fishing. This is really going to help you enjoy kite fishing a lot more. It's going to make it a lot more easy and practical and help speed up the learning process for you guys. So with that being said, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, be sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's do that. If you haven't hit the like button on this video, be sure and do that. That way it'll help get this video out to more people. And with that being said, let's get started. As we get started in this video, I just want to let you guys know, for your convenience, I do have all these accessories linked down below in the description to the exact place that I had bought them. That way you guys can get those for yourself and save the most money, because kite fishing is definitely not a cheap fishing method. It's costly and it's a great method, but it's costly. But with that being said, it's not a cheap sport. So with that being said, let's start talking about the first accessory. First thing I want to say, you might think it's a standard thing, is the electric kite reel. Some guys do use manual reels. However, this Canacom 1200 is an electric reel. We recently did a review on this, so be sure and check out that review. It's a great electric reel. You can use it for multiple purposes. Really, any Canacom reel would work. It's a great entry-level electric reel, especially if it's the first electric reel you're buying. It's pretty economical and is a great bang for the buck as far as electric reels are concerned. It is much easier to use an electric kite reel, especially when you send out a kite way out and if you're first trying to learn how to set the kite up in the air. It's a pain in the butt. It's not easy, and an electric reel really makes that a lot easier. So that's one thing I want to say. And learn how to use this before you take it out and use it on the water. Learn how to retrieve the line. Learn how to set it to where it's going to stop from the boat. We're going to be doing some videos on that in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss those. Anyways, back to what I was saying, learn how to use this, and this is going to make your kite fishing experience much easier. So that being said, that brings us to the next accessory, which is a lithium battery. This one is made by Abyss batteries. It's one of the more popular ones on the market. I've heard some guys use other brands like that they found on Amazon and stuff like that, and they've said it works great. However, this is the one I've been using. It's an Abyss battery. I haven't had issues with it dying. However, every time I use it, I charge it up all the way and then I use it. So it'll last me all day on an electric reel, and it's really great. The nice part about it is it's not heavy, and it gives me a lot more mobility. So the reel is already heavy. This is maybe like 1.5 pounds. The reel is like 6 pounds already, so it's not a light setup to start with, and just adding an extra pound doesn't really affect it too much. So this is great because it allows you to have more mobility, especially when you're first learning to fly a kite. Start flying one kite before you start flying 2 or 3. But anyways, the best part about this battery is it gives you mobility. However, it is a few $100 accessory, and it's not cheap. However, it does last a while, and it's small, it's portable, and you can take it from boat to boat. You don't have to have a outlet on your boat to plug in the reel. You don't have to worry about having that wire and somebody tripping over or pulling it loose. And this is there to be able to let you have a more easy experience of setting the kite up in the air. You're going to be more mobile, so you can go anywhere on the boat and set out the kite with the kite rod with this battery. So that's one accessory. The next one I wanted to talk about is the bag for the kites. So I got this bag right here. I have 2 of each type of kite in here, just because I currently have this bag set up for just flying one kite. So if every time you add another kite rod, I would say buy 2 to 3 kites. I think 2 is a more reasonable number, just because especially when you first start, you're gonna get kites wet, and sometimes once you get kites wet, you can't fly them again because they're just wet and they just don't fly right. I don't know why exactly, but it's just how it is. When you start kite fishing and you go to fly the kites, practice at home first, just flying it really close to you, not far, and sending out baits on it, just so you can figure out how to fly the kites in different wind conditions. different kites for different wind conditions. So these white ones, I like Tigers just because I feel like they're more simple, they're easier to get their products and stuff like that. They're linked down below in the description. So there is a kit that includes 2 of the white ones, which is supposed to be like 5 to 10 miles an hour, and then 2 of the yellow ones, which is supposed to be like 10 to 15. However, I use it more like 10 to 20. And then this other one that is blue is not sold in the kit, but it is another kite that they have, and it is for 15 and above. I really use it more for like 20 and above. However, that's another kite. But anyways, the kit that I was talking about, it includes this kite bag, which is absolutely essential. And you can even mount it onto the top of your T-top. There's little spots in the back here to strap it on. Anyways, it's a great way to keep everything all together and organized. That way you don't have to build out new kites all the time. You keep them in here and you keep them dry. So that kit includes this kite bag, 2 of the white kites and 2 of the yellow ones. And then obviously I added 2 of the blue kites for the higher winds. Basically the difference in the different size kites is the white ones are going to be larger, so they're going to catch more wind. So that's for lighter wind conditions. The yellow one, it's slightly smaller, and it's going to be for conditions where it's a little bit more windy. And then the other ones are going to have holes on it, and it's going to allow the wind to pass through for when it's super windy. It's going to be a smaller kite that way, because you don't need as much wind to keep the kite up in the air. Another thing I did want to talk about is balloons. On a light wind kite, you're always going to be flying a balloon, and then I would say probably it really depends on you, but in most cases you're probably going to fly a balloon on one of the yellow kites as well. It's a little bit more windy. And then on the blue one, you're not going to be flying a helium balloon just because it's going to be too windy. I do want to say though, even on the days that it's super windy, you always want to include some little balloon, because these kites will sink, not like a rock, but they'll sink pretty quick. So you want to include that. That way it stays up on top of the surface and you can retrieve your kite. That way you don't lose a $100 to $150 kite. And believe me, that does add up. So they're not cheap. And adding a little balloon is just a cheap insurance policy to ensure you keep your kite. Another thing I did have happen one time, I do use duct tape to keep the balloon kind of like tied to like the kite bridle, the bridle for the balloon, and the kite strings. And I use that to kind of keep it on there, and you'll learn as you get more experience that you can set it on certain angles to make the kite go out in different angles, along with adding split shots to the kite to allow it to go out to certain sizes. However, on the times I'm using a helium balloon, I do like to add to the back of the kite. Let's see if I can find it here. This one right here. I do like to add some little floats, these weightless floats to it. That way, because one time when I had first started, I don't know if it was my area or it could have just been the conditions, maybe even a bird might have ran into the balloon. Anyways, it popped and it sank, and I thought I didn't need a balloon on it. After that, I learned if I put these floats on it, it would stay up and it would be much easier to retrieve my kite. I was able to retrieve that kite, but I have to tell you, it was a very delicate and long process, and it was in the middle of a tournament, so it was really kind of frustrating. But anyways, add these little floats to the back of them. When you're flying without the little balloon, but I might even just add a little balloon to it. You can just get a balloon, blow in it, blow it up small enough, and just tie it to the back just to keep it floating, to stop it from sinking. But if you're just having a big helium balloon, just go ahead and add those as extra insurance. You can even add them on the other ones when you're using a small little balloon. It's just an extra insurance. It's cheap to allow you to not have to worry about your kite sinking and then you lose that and then you have to go buy another one and it's expensive, Anyways, this kite bag is another accessory, as I had mentioned, that I really like just because it keeps everything stored together, and you can fit probably like 20 or 30 kites in here. Like I have 6 in here and it has a lot of room in it. So that's one great accessory that I really like. And then that brings us to the next accessory, which is the kite assembly box. This is going to include everything. It is a watertight box, or water resistant at least. It allows you to keep everything organized. You can put your balloons in it, your different floats, and it comes with different stuff as well. It allows you to keep everything organized. So there's going to be some weightless floats that are small. There's going to be some weighted floats that are really large, and then like some medium-sized floats that are weighted. There's got split shots in it for your kite. It's got the rigging bands. It's got a few rigging needles. It has even the ceramic rings, different size ceramic rings for obviously different conditions. And weights, that's one thing you're going to really learn, is that in different days you're going to have to really vary the weights. The floats are very important. Like on some windy days, you want to use the really light floats. That way it'll catch less wind. And then on days that it's a little bit less windy, you might want to use one of the larger floats. That way it's that way you can see it better, and maybe it'll catch a little bit more wind. There's all kinds of different things. Some guys say different things. However, it's really just a matter of you playing around and seeing what you like the best. It has all kinds of different things. It includes beads, and as you can see on the box, it has everything listed. Also, when you go online to look at this product, in the description it'll have everything. It's got everything you need, the clips for the balloons, the kite strings, the beads. It's got everything you need. All you need to do to add to this is have your leader, the hooks that you're going to use, and this includes everything else: the floats, the weights, the beads for your lines, and the snap swivels to go to your leader, and then everything to rig your kite. So once you buy your kite, it's going to have everything to rig that kite that you need. Anyways, that's just what I want to say. And then you can add, as you use things out of this kit, you can go back and buy those things and replenish your kit, or even buy 2 of them. That way you have plenty of stuff. And this is a really great way to just keep everything organized and everything together. That way, you know, all my kite stuff is in this thing. I take this box and I have everything I'm ready to go kite fishing with the exception of, you know, leaders and hooks and stuff like that. But anyways, that's a great thing to keep everything organized. Highly recommend this accessory. The next thing is going to be this. Actually, in the beginning, I didn't use this, and then I kind of began to realize, well, maybe I should try it. So I ended up getting the offset one. I do prefer the offset rather than the one that just like it's set in the middle like standard, or the one where it's curved out. I believe the offset is a tad bit more expensive. However, the offset one, it just has increased practicality, I feel like. You know, also another thing is when you're not using it for kite fishing, you can use it to store your rods in it. So like if you have like a rod holder on the T-top or whatever, sitting up straight, you can put an extra 2 rods up there. You know, you can fit 3 rods on this. It's really beefy and sturdy. Like, you know, it's not going to break, and it's going to support the weight of your rods and all that, even when it's windy and stuff like that. That's why I like to put on the top rod holders so they're standing straight up, and it gives you extra rod space to put rods on the boat. So it's really practical for that. And the nice thing is too, is that if you have 2 rod holders and you want to fly 3 kites, you can do that. You put this in 1 rod holder, 3 kite rods on here, and you got the kite rod in another rod holder. Or if you want to do just 1 or 2, you put the kite rod in one of these rod holders and the other line or 2 on this. That way you have everything together, rather than having to move all the way across the boat to adjust your lines. You can adjust all your lines right here. Let's see if I can show you guys. I don't know how well you guys can see that with the camera, but if it was sitting like this, I could be managing my kites and trimming and adjusting, adding more line to however I need them to be added. So it's really a great tool because you don't have to use as many rod holders for the kites. It allows you to be more practical with everything, so you can control everything better, and it adds extra rod storage. So those are the recommended accessories I would say that I would recommend buying to get started. They're great accessories. They make the experience so much easier and more enjoyable. And believe me, when you start kite fishing, it's not going to be the easiest experience. It's going to be kind of stressful. If you know somebody that's done it before, highly recommend getting them out, even if you have to pay them some money or, you know, work something out with them. If they can teach you and help shorten that learning curve, it's going to be much easier, because it is complicated at first. Once you start doing it, you're really going to love it, because it's a great way to present your baits. And some days you're only going to catch fish on the kites, some days you're not. So it really allows you to put more baits in the water, give it really natural presentation, and it's a really fun thing to do. However, it is on the pricey side, but so is fishing, fuel and all that. It's all expensive, and you know, these are just some great accessories to have to get you started. And even as you get more experience, you're going to really appreciate these accessories because of how much easier it's going to be to manage all your kite lines and all that. So with that being said, thanks for watching today's video, guys. Be sure to check out all this equipment down below in the description. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment down below. Let me know what you decide to go with. Tigers is not the only brand. However, it is the most iconic brand, and it's the easiest brand to access, which is why I choose to use them. Anyways, with that being said, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 1,000, and if you haven't hit the like button on this video, be sure and do so. That way it helps get this video out to more people. And with that being said, signing off. Until next time.